chicks, but we do it manually. There's one house that we use for that specifically, so that and we do it manually. Initially I was using like there are some specific bulbs that you can use, but one time I did it and it was very expensive. I actually paid a bill of about 12,000 in a month. So we decided to do it the manual way. So we usually brood the manual way. We have geckos, special geckos for brooding. We usually do our own brooders. We modify them and we do it the simple way. Here we try to simplify things as possible. We do it the old school way. So long as it's giving us returns, we don't want to, we try to cut down on expenses as much as possible, so long as we don't have mortality for the chicks. Like for us, we buy from a recommended agent who usually does the vaccination on the first day before they come. Then, because that one is very important. Then when they are vaccinated, you carry them, you come with them, and you continue with vaccination weekly up to the time they are 8 weeks or 2 months. So when we bring them here, we usually use those special geckos, and then we usually make where we are going to brood and spray. There are some specific disinfectants that we use, so that at least we won't have any mortality or any related illness. So we spray, then we prepare, we look for sometimes sawdust. We make the place as warm as possible, because when the chicks are 1 day old up to the time they are 2 months, they should really have a very comfortable environment, especially an environment where they get a lot of warmth. Then when you're using like those geckos, you have to ensure that there is no smoke within the brooder. Then you also have to ensure you feed them well. And literally like the first 4 or 5 days, you have to really keep checking, even at night, so that they don't lie on one another, or so that something doesn't scare them and then they go and press on one side and kill others.
When you look around Steve's poultry house, you will notice there is a distinct separation between the different poultry coops. Why is this the case?
Previously, we had built just like a hall, and all poultry were there, and the production was not as good as it is now. So later, when some specialists came in and some consultants and some vets, they came and they advised us that the more the poultry in one room, the more you have chances of some not getting the chance to feed. So we decided to divide all of them. That's why you can see like now this one alone, it can be able to house about 700 or 800. But now we divided it such that it can house about 300, each can house about 300. But we also use from the books they say 1 square feet should house 1 bird. But for me, we did that and it was congested. So now we are doing 2 square feet for 1 bird. So that's why we divide them, so that at least the fewer they are, the easier you can manage them. That is why you'll even find the farmers that are doing fewer birds, like 200, 100, they get almost 99 or 98% poultry laying. Whereas if you have so many in one place, unless they are in cages, you get less results. That's why we divided the poultry houses to about 10, so that at least each poultry house has a minimum number, so that it would be easy to manage them. Then it also helps because you can easily find out if there is an issue with one poultry house. You can chip in and isolate to the isolation room. We have an isolation poultry house somewhere else. And sometimes I've also learned that for some unknown reasons, they pick on some unique colors for poultry. If there's a bird that is not resembling the others, most of them, they have a tendency to pick on it. So we isolate that one and keep them together with the ones that look alike. There are some apps, like for cows, we are using DigiCow. It's very easy and it gives you prompts and you can even see the results. But we also do the manual way, because like with the farm hands that I have, you cannot tell them to be inserting that on the apps. So we use a book where we record like this cow, this date. You put them for each cow, morning, like if it's the morning milk, lunchtime, etc. Like the same with the poultry. there is a way we arrange them, like if it's eggs for one poultry house and another for another, so that we are able to see. Like for instance, right now, even when we are collecting, we have color-coded the things we used to collect, so that even when we are pangaring them, you can easily know that this one is for the bigger ones, this one is for this other one. And we also have like, we've given them numbers, like we know we have G1, which is a ground floor poultry house 1, ground floor poultry house 2, first floor poultry house 1, first floor poultry house 2, and then if it's like the one at the cow shed, we call it, you know, such. So we separate them, we collect them, and then we write somewhere. We have a book, a diary, where we write, so that if, again, like if it's a poultry house and you realize that this one, there was a drop in laying, then you're able to chip in fast and find out what is happening. Is it that they didn't get enough feeds? Is it that there is a problem? Is it that they were stressed or something of that sort? Currently, I'm marketing online. I'm in various groups like Digital Dairy Farmers. I'm also in DFK, Dairy Farmers group. I'm in several groups, farming groups, in FB, and I'm marketing online, and I'm also using several other people, like we call them the brokers, who usually come and buy from a farm. Previously, I was also delivering, like to various people, but currently our vehicle has broken down, so we are not able to do deliveries. So we are marketing and requesting people to come and pick from our farm directly. But in future, maybe if someone is taking like over 100 trays, we can deliver. We will be delivered, probably in 2-3 weeks time, we should be able to deliver to them directly, and maybe add something small for fuel.
Illness can spread very quickly among poultry, especially if one has young birds. It is good practice to ensure that you sterilize the chicken coop anytime new chickens are brought into the brood. Apart from disinfecting the brood, having disinfectant outside where everyone entering the poultry coop steps into is very important.
First of all, like for us, we buy from a recommended agent who usually does the vaccination on the first day before they come. Then, because that one is very important. And then when they are vaccinated, you carry them, you come with them, and you continue with vaccination weekly up to the time they are 8 weeks or 2 months. So when we bring them here, we usually use those special G-calls. I'll show you later. And then we usually make where we are going to brood and spray. There are some specific disinfectants that we use, so that at least we won't have any mortality or any related illness. So we spray, then we prepare, we look for sometimes sawdust. We make the place as warm as possible, because when the chicks are 1 day old up to the time they are 2 months, they should really have a very comfortable environment, especially an environment where they get a lot of warmth. Then when you're using like those G-calls, you have to ensure that there is no smoke within the brooder. Then you also have to ensure you feed them well. And literally like the first 4 or 5 days, you have to really keep checking, even at night, so that they don't lie on one another, or so that something doesn't scare them and then they go and press on one side and kill others. So we usually, it's a bit cumbersome kidogo when they are in the first week, but after 2 weeks, when they now have grown wings and good feathers, at least now you can relax, and we now look at them and manage them for the next 8 weeks. But okay, vaccination is very crucial. Sometimes we also give them some vitamins, and the first days there are other things that we also combine and give them, so that at least you ensure. And we are also given, where we buy, we are also given a list where you tick every, after the first 5 days, this is what you do. So you keep checking and tallying. This is the immunization you're supposed to give. This is the vaccine that you're supposed to give. You're supposed to give this vitamin. So we keep ticking. Then after 8 weeks now, we move them now to we prepare the other poultry houses, like now these ones. So we have to count them again. and then now you fit them now to the right poultry houses. And when they are almost 2 months, also they are not very big, so sometimes you have to put like the sheds, like what you can see up there. But now when they are grown, you don't necessarily have to put them. But when they are small, you have to every evening you drop them so that the room is also warm. Then in the morning you also pull it up so that at least there is enough air coming in and out, so that at least they don't die of ammonia. Then after, now you have them separately. Basically after, when they're up to 8 weeks, you give them chick mash. Then after the 8 weeks, now you can change to growers. But you introduce slowly, you mix a bit, you don't introduce randomly. It's like you're winning them. You introduce kidogo kidogo until now you shift to growers. Then now you give them growers, and now when they are growers, you have to really feed them. When they are 3 months, now you have to do something we call thumping. It's like now you ensure every now and then there is feed. There are feeds on the feeders, such that they eat, they drink water, they rest. They eat, they drink water, then they rest. So that at least by the 4th month and by the 18th, 19th week, you can at least start seeing the first eggs, the smaller eggs. Then now at that time, now again, okay, there are people nowadays who are doing lighting. I hear sometimes the first week, when you see the first egg, you extend the timings from like evening. You ensure there is lighting in the poultry house for like 1 hour, so that it's like you're extending the daytime, because it's said that during the day is when they are likely to. They eat a lot, and it also interferes with their production, so that at least they are able to lay fast. But for us, we just do it the old school way. We just give them feeds and feeds and feeds, and ensure the rooms are clean. Not clean as in the clean you'd expect, but at least they are clean as we ensure there are no new things coming in there. And then after now we start seeing the first eggs. You wait until 20% of them are laying. When they lay up to 20%, now you can start introducing layers, kidogo kidogo. Up to now, again, you win them again now to layers mash. And when you get now to that stage, now you can almost relax. But before then, sorry, I forgot. After 2 months, after the 2 months, there in between, before you reach 3 months, there are some injections that you give on the wing and also on the thigh. One is for fowlpox, the other one is forgotten, but I know those ones they are very important that you have to give. But basically that's it. There are people who usually debeak their poultry, but for us here we don't, because once we did it, and eventually they end up growing back again. And mostly what we've learned out of experience is that usually when they are really, when most people cut them so that they don't eat the eggs and they don't also harm the others. But we've realized when they do that, either they are stressed or there is maybe there is something that they are missing from their diet. So for us, we just give healthy, and sometimes when we see such, we supplement. Sometimes we boost with some vitamins, some enzymes, and then that's it.
Steve is very hands-on when it comes to his farm. He leaves nothing to chance and ensures that he plans for his days ahead before the week begins. He takes us through the day-to-day care of his farm.
Our day starts around before 6. That is now when you start handling them. So you have to wake up around, let's say around 5 something, so that by 6 you're ready, because you're supposed to start feeding them at 6, because the earlier you feed them, the earlier they'll lay eggs. Basically by around 12 or 1 p.m. you're supposed to have gotten at least 90% of the eggs you expect to get. So it's usually advisable to feed them as early as possible. So by 6 we usually wake up, ensure we take the feeds, give to the feeds up to around and whenever you put the feeds, you also bring in water, because it's advisable that they go in hand in hand, unless when we are giving vitamins. Sometimes once in a while we give some vitamins or some enzymes. That time now you give feeds alone and wait for like 2 hours, for like an hour, and so that they are thirsty, and then now you bring in. But maybe in future, because we intend to have, now we have a tank, we are trying to do, we now have instance whereby we have automated water feeders, such that we won't be now bringing in the jugs for the water. But then after you feed them, then we feed them, and then we feed the others, because we also have other things like pigs. You feed the pigs. Then after by around 8, when you're done, now you take your breakfast, if you had not taken before. Then after taking your breakfast, now again you start going around picking now eggs. You start like with the ones that you started with. Then again the circle goes on and on. If you are doing other things, like sometimes we also sell the birds droppings. They are usually very healthy for cows, and sometimes we also mix with other feeds and give also to our pigs. And sometimes we also sell all manure. So sometimes we also sweep in the poultry houses, and then we sieve it so that at least it's fine. When it's fine, you can now give it or mix it with other things and give to other things. Then after that, up to around 2 p.m. at least, now that's when you give yourself more time. But before then, every like 20-30 minutes, you have to go in and collect the eggs and ensure they are also okay. Then around between 11 and 1 p.m., those that have finished their feeds, you have to add, and also add water. That's why I'm saying after we have the automated need for water, at least it will be easier then, because you don't have to keep checking. Although people have recently complained that some of them are really blocking so much. So that's why I'm saying my old school way. I like it, because when they've not had water, at least you'll see. When they are not taking enough, you'll see. When they want more, you'll add. Then up to around 3 again, now you keep checking, collecting eggs. At least from 2 p.m. you're not very busy. Then around 5 p.m. then again you have to come in and collect now what you've seen we are using for giving. You have to take the feeders, the water feeders, and then you wash them. Usually now those ones you have to really wash them thoroughly with the soap and everything, rinse them, and then put water by around 6 outside here, so that in the morning when you enter and give the feeds, you'll just now, you won't have to go so far to collect them. So, and then in the evening you ensure the houses are locked, and that is our day. But when we had when we are doing other things, sometimes from 2 p.m. you can also do other things, like now ensuring that where they are laying, the laying sheds are also comfortable. Because if they are not comfortable, you let a lot of broken eggs, or they will not lay comfortably. So you have to ensure that also where they are laying, the sheds are comfortable, so that they can feel comfortable to rest there. You also have to ensure the rooms are airy enough, and you also have to ensure there is not much spilled water. That initially I had bought those ones that we get from the manufacturers. I'll show you later, but we decided to do away with them, because the space is very small, and when they keep packing there is a lot of spillage of water, which is very risky, because it encourages a lot of them to eat on the ground, etc. So we prefer these bigger ones, which we modify. We take the jerry cans and modify and cut. I'll also show you some. We modify, we do it the Jua Kali way, but it really works well, because they don't spill. You've seen even when you enter there, the rooms are dry, which is recommended, and you reduce the chances of ammonia and the smell, and the room is air enough. So in the evening, that is why now you've seen one of my colleagues now taking them from the poultry houses so that at least they can wash them.
One can tell that Steve works passionately in his farm. One can also tell just how labor-intensive it is from his work and actions.
When you have the resources, it's still possible. You can manage actually even 2,000 poultry when you're one, so long as when you get used and when you have those ones, because it's not around. So long as you have some good people that are working for you, it can happen. And so long as you have some people who are passionate about farming as farm hands, then there is no problem. Because like now the one we have, sometimes I usually go to attend other errands and he's alone here, or even sometimes my wife is alone here, so it's still possible. And I remember also there was a time I was managing this place doing it alone. So it's not that very labor intensive. Okay, in as much as it might sound, when you get used, like feeding them, it takes around approximately 2 hours like now to feed the 2,000 poultry, and like 30 minutes to deal with the pigs. But when we had many cows, that time we needed like 3 staff, so that some can deal with poultry, with the birds, and then one can deal with the cows. But when there are not so many, it's possible, because when you finish with feeding the birds, then you can easily go and milk the cows and then deliver milk. So it's still possible. I know several farmers also who manage and they are not always around, so long as there is someone at least who's there. And then nowadays, with the modern poultry house, we now have automated feeders, and we are also having automated water feeders, such that like when you have those ones in the morning, you'll just ensure that they are neat. It takes like less than 15 minutes to just clean the feeders. And nowadays, if you also can afford, we also have automated feeders. You just, like, if you know they consume like 1 sack of layers mash, you just put in there and then automatically it will push. But that is for those that can afford, and when you have ample power, because like now if you get power on and off, it's not recommendable because you'll eventually end up doing it manually. But when you have the resources, it's still possible. You can manage actually even 2,000 poultry when you're one, so long as when you get used and when you have those ones, because it reduces the labor.
When we come back from the break, find out how Steven shows the quality of his eggs and how he found his market.